everyone. Welcome to the second in a row Vivify Ideas team talk. My name is Vlad. I'm the social media manager for Vivify Ideas. Today, my guests are Marco and I and Anja.
Hi there.
How are you guys doing?
Doing well, thank you.
What about you, Marco?
Great, thank you. Thanks for asking.
Okay, so Marco and Anja are PMs, and what that means and what their responsibilities are is pretty much the topic of this short talk. Now, thank you very much for taking your time to join me. I'm sure you guys are very, very busy, so I appreciate you taking some time. Should we just get right into it?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so the first thing I wanted to ask is revolves around essentially leadership in crisis. So right now we're still in the midst of the pandemic. Hopefully things will get much better by the end of the year. But I'm wondering how are we taking care, or essentially how are you taking care of your teams right now, and making sure the processes aren't hindered, essentially, and to kind of to ride off that question as well, how do we approach client relations as well in this new situation? Do we handle things differently than we did before? Just walk me through that a little bit.
Maybe I can take this question, right? I think that the essence here is possibility to have the right tools, have, let's say, clear transparency with the clients and within the team members, and have a clear communication channels and pathways how we discuss and how we approach the issues or the development that we are having. I think these four words are the key words regarding the first part of your question. By being as much as possible transparent toward the client while we are in the development process, we are making sure, or we are making, let's say, alignment that we are on a progress and that we are not hindering along the path. In this way, we are also, from our perspective of the project managers, we are managing the expectations of the clients in smaller iterations while we are communicating more frequently with the clients. Of course, since we are from the Vivify Ideas, it would be great to mention here that we are having our own internally developed but publicly available product, which is called the Vivify Scrum. And the Vivify Scrum helps us a lot during the development process. And of course, clients are invited and they can see on a daily basis how we are progressing toward or in a software development life cycle. The second question was, please help me out.
I was wondering how we approach the client relations. You know.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. But I mean, nothing particularly happens here in the time of the crisis. Why? Because of the majority of our projects within Vivify Ideas are for the clients who are abroad. And during the initial phase or investigation phase of the project, we are clearly setting up, or we are establishing different channels of the communication, how we are approaching the different stakeholders and what are the best ways to interact with them. However, I agree that this isolation situation or working completely remotely is intensifying the communication, and I am saying that the communication channels are candid at this moment to the maximum.
When we use just a quick question, when we use when we're talking about the communication channels, are we speaking? Have you seen a trend of moving more towards video calls and online meetings, or is the text form more prevalent? Just wondering about the trend.
I would say that the trend goes into the chat, into the Slack, Skype, or any kind of the platform used just for the chatting. But of course, nothing on the hierarchy of the communication, of digital communication. It is always prerogative to have a video call, have a video turned on, and this is creating a relationship with the client and with the team members, that all of us are not working remotely or for the separate places, but that all of us are, let's say, in a common cave or in a common place that we are sitting and discussing.
Yeah. That makes sense. Now, when we speak about clients' expectations and managing these expectations versus delivering the best possible product as we see it. So sometimes clients' original idea requires a few changes, maybe even drastic changes to make it a drastically better product. So what would you say? That was always interested me. What do you think is the best way to propose these changes to all the involved stakeholders? Because you have the best product that you can possibly achieve in mind, but then as well you have to you basically have to adhere to the rules and visions that were originally established.
Precisely. Well, I recently came across, let's say, from the social media to one photo that is taken by some guy, right? And it's saying here the price list. And if you go into the price list, you can see we design, it's a relationship among the client, right? And the developers or the designers there. You saw it. I see you're. So you design or redesign and you do nothing, then it's a X amount of the money. And then as the clients get involved inside the design process, the price almost doubles and triples. And it's vice versa. If the client designs and we are just there as a support, it's going 10 or 20 times larger. This is precisely one of the scopes or the work descriptions that PMs and the POs within the Vivify ideas do. We clearly have to differentiate when we are saying yes to the client's wishes, demands, or changes, when we are saying no, and why there is a reason to say them no. We guide them, of course, into these changes and into these improvements. As of course and the guys I'm aware of who will and who are listening to us at this moment, who are aware of the Vivify ideas. We are the company who has tons of the project behind our back, and from those projects we extracted a common knowledge or the best practices or know-how in this niche of the business. So this is creating us in a certain way or giving us an expertise that with this, let's say, I would say, burden on our shoulder as well, that we are able to propose the client and to clearly demonstrate to him why we are proposing the changes there. It can save him time, it can save him money, or it's just a common practice or the best practice in a software development process.
Yeah. Cool. So this is something that happens during the development process as we go through iterations, and as an agile company, when we show our demos, there are some changes that we propose as well. Now let's go back all the way to the discovery phase. This is something I'm personally very interested in, and I think many people are as well. What just walk me through our discovery phase, and what would you say is the most difficult aspect of that process?
Okay, well, I can take this one. So basically, this is a stage where we define the whole workflow and requirements in wireframes and project maps. So it starts by listing all the desired functionalities and features that the product will have. And our team actually, project managers, designers, and solution architects collaborates closely with the client to get all the information while we are making sure that none of the requirements are neglected. neglected. So we organize the workshops where the client shares a vision of the product with our design and product teams. And with the information gathered during the analysis stage and in the design workshops, our UX and software development teams start creating the initial structure of the product based on the wireframes we defined together. So we use online wireframes tools so that wireframes can be easily edited, changed, and reviewed. And at the end of this stage, both the client and our team have a picture of the product, meaning the defined scope. So the result of this phase allows us to continue to the next step in product development lifecycle, which is project estimation and proposal. So bottom line, we identify real clients' requirements, and only then we proceed to actual contracting, development, and delivery of the solution. Regarding your second question, well, I would say that the most difficult part, but at the same time, the most exciting one, is working with clients who have only a rough idea, meaning when they don't have a clear vision about the final product and features they want to have. So here we show them some good practices and examples we did previously in order to create the product that will work for their target group. Also, in case they're off-road with the features they want to implement, our UX and solution architect team explain to them on concrete examples of why it won't be a good option. And of course, we suggest some or actually several better options.
Wow, that is a process.
Yeah, exactly.
It almost seemed like the most difficult aspect of the discovery phase is the discovery phase as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds simple and easy, but actually, it's not at all.
How long does? Oh, I mean, on average, how long does a discovery phase take in our case?
Well, it depends on the project complexity. Sometimes if it's about some small projects, it's, let's say, around 2 weeks. But if there are some complex projects, in that case, it can take even up to 1 month.
Cool. Now that we've done with our discovery phase, we're moving on to the general development process. It's a process of obviously a collaboration between our teams and the clients, every individual within our teams, and also our collaboration with other teams. So like we've had quite a few projects where we sometimes work as a part of a larger international team. And now I'm wondering, considering that, so as Marco has already mentioned, we do have our own agile software, Vivify Scrum. You can download it at vivifyscrum.com. Considering that, unfortunately, no agile implementation is the same, and it varies. It varies from company to company. It even varies within teams. How do we sync our processes with the other teams that we collaborate with, whether they're agile or not?
Okay, I'll also take this one. So we use in Vivify Ideas, we use Scrum as an agile framework, and that helps us create high quality software. And we also strongly believe in values that Scrum promotes, and we have experienced benefits that it brings. So having said that, our development process is fully transparent. As you already mentioned, we use our project management tool, Vivify Scrum, where we define tasks together with the client. And the thing is, we already work with international teams where there either was no agile implementation or it was not the same one. So here we try to show to other teams the benefits the whole project and the team would have with the agile process. So the project managers organize the call with other project managers and stakeholders, where we demonstrate to them how we use our Vivify Scrum, where we explain to them in detail the agile process we use, and actually why it brought the quality of the products we build. So does why it reduced the risks across projects. That's where we suggest them, let's say, trial period, where our project managers and scrum masters make sure that our work process is visible to everyone involved in that product development. During that stage, we ask them often for feedback. And of course, if we can adjust the process, that will work for all teams. Sure, we are open to those possibilities too. The thing is that in the end, through an absolute commitment to transparency of everything we do, most of the teams and clients decide to start using our agile process or the adapted one. Basically, either we start using our one or we decide to get there on the adjusted one, the, let's say, hybrid process that we created together.
And so we go through that entire process, and we essentially come up with some very cool products in a variety of industries and niches. And sooner or later, we get to the Project Handover. So let's talk about that. Now, first of all, for those who aren't heavily involved in project management, such as myself, would you mind explaining what does Project Handover exactly involve? Like, I in my mind, I do imagine it as basically just here we go, but obviously it's way more complex than that. And as well, if you could address what are the key steps to ensure that it is a successful handover.
I heard that you said that it is like a final activity, but it's not. So if I can just step in regarding this question, Project Handover, I wouldn't say it is just one activity, right? When we are at the end of the project, we are giving them 100 pages of the document and saying, "Hey, you are done, and we are through."
Here are the keys. Here are the keys to your project.
Exactly, but it's not. And again, you mentioned I would say a key word again here, which is the process. Project Handover is a process as well, one of the parts of this software development life cycle of processes. It is. As you said rightly, but it is a process that is giving a transition of the not only the code, let's say from our perspective, but also the knowledge that we are having, the common understanding that we build, or let's say the expertise that we build from us to the clients or to the key stakeholders. These key stakeholders can be various ones, right? Within the clients, we can have a technical guy who is going to receive the code. We will have, let's say, the C-level executives who are, for example, will receive the documentation, or who will receive just the URL or address of their application that we built for them. So from our perspective, the project handover, it is not an activity; it is the process. And the second question is how we are handling the project handover. It is starting, as Anja is telling, even from the discovery phases. In the discovery phases, while we are trying to collect all of the specs, specifications, all of the business cases, what is there to be built, we are also creating in a certain way initial product or project roadmap. This roadmap is a handover, I would say item in the agenda, or item that we are delivering. It is stating where we are at the project in certain phases, where are the deadlines, what are the milestones, what is going to be delivered in a certain time period, and this is again a deliverable or project handover material that we are given. Anja also mentioned that we are agile and we are Scrum, and as you all know, agile gives you a possibility that at the end of every sprint you might have a potentially shippable increment of the product, or a chunk of a product that you are giving a value to, right? So one piece of the puzzle up to the next one that you are building as well. This potentially shippable product increment is a project handover item on the agenda. At the very end, of course, of the project, we are delivering a full functional product, and of course, giving, let's say, the project documentation there. We are giving a knowledge transfer to the client. We are also, and it's usually a common case within the Vivify, we are giving the maintenance and the support time or a period which usually is from a month up to the 3 months, depending again on the complexity of the project. So as said, it is not an let's say one activity, but it is a time spanning activity of the handover.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah, I think it's one of these things where you would imagine it being a lot easier than it is. You've also mentioned this entire support process, right? So that seems, what was it, a month?
It depends. Like I mentioned, it depends on the complexity of the project. If it is something which is, I would say, straightforward regarding the development, then usually it goes within a month. But if it is a complex product or a project, then it can span up to 3 months as well.
Yeah. Wow. Honestly, that's all the questions I had, and you've blown my mind with all the details. I think many people in our industry who are either starting out as PMs or who are in different teams, or even potential clients will find these little insights very interesting. What I wanted to do with this one is just basically kind of catch up on how we're dealing with the current situation, and as well just going through our processes in a very top level kind of way. That naturally, just like with our QA team talk, someone will have questions. I've received a few messages from fellow developers who said, you should have asked them this, you should have asked them that. Guys, if there's anything you want me to ask our PM team or any other team for that matter, feel free to suggest it on any social media profiles, because this is a series that we'll keep doing, and we'll get back to the PM team with even more questions, more detailed questions. So yeah, any suggestions on what topics or what aspects of project management you guys want us to cover, just feel free to suggest it. Now, Marko, Anja, thank you so much for being here, for taking your time. I appreciate it very much. It's nice seeing you again.
Yeah, totally. Well, thank you. It's a pleasure talking to you, and well, I hope we'll see soon.
Yeah, I hope we'll have we'll be able to have some kind of corporate party sometime soon, just to catch up in person.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one, hopefully soon.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.
Once again. Bye.